Hey guys, welcome back. I want to play this TikTok video that little Frodo in GRBSnark reminded all of us that Gypsy posted not too long ago. And in this video, I think it's going to help us understand the whole Joe situation and how she has taken advantage of another autistic man. And with all of us that have sons, daughters, grandchildren with autism, this should worry each and every one of us. So I'm going to play it. And then what I'm going to do is I had to put it through Microsoft Copilot so I could understand and read what each of the words on the different pages mean, because I had a hard time making out what some of the words are. But we're going to go through it just full-fledged, just like Gypsy put it into her TikTok account. And then we're going to go screen per screen. And that way we can understand what her words that she was putting out there in the universe.
What's inside, who that is, what that is. I wanted to know, so this way I know what I'll be dealing with. And unfortunately, that part of me wanted to come out for a very long time, and the very first opportunity it got, it didn't waste any time in basically trying to make an example out of somebody, unfortunately. That dark shadow part of me that really is triggered by anger. It's triggered by anger. The sweet, innocent me that I usually wake up to every day is not there. It's completely different.
I've taken accountability, and now I take back my life. When I accepted my sentence, I accepted the weight of my choices. I served my time. That was my accountability, and I've carried it for years. I don't owe the past anything more. As for Nicholas Godejohn, yes, he is a deeply disturbed man, but he also knew the difference between right and wrong. Regardless of my role of unintentional manipulation, this type of manipulation isn't rooted in malice. It's often a reflection of past trauma, fear of abandonment, or a lack of emotional tools. The key difference is intent. The person is not trying to deceive or control, but the behavior still affects others and requires self-awareness and growth to correct. So to me, she has not taken any accountability. She's 8.5 years for taking how many lives? Not just her mother's. And she knew exactly what she was doing for those 2 years that she manipulated him through video, through emails, through phone calls. She knew what she was doing. She sent him money. She stole the weapon. And she also gave him a story to tell the police so that he could take all of the blame. And yes, that was manipulation at its finest. Nicholas made the decision to move forward with that night. That was a choice, and he is not exempt from the consequences of that choice. His diagnosis of autism/Asperger's does not excuse what he did. Mental health is complex, but accountability matters, and no one is above the law. His fate was decided by a panel of judges, prosecutors, lawyers, and 12 jury members who reviewed the same evidence circulating online. His efforts of appeals have all been unsuccessful, each court agreeing with the original conviction. Now, she can say all she wants to, that his autism and his Asperger's doesn't matter, but it does. And something else matters. The defense and the prosecutors gave HBO all that information before he even went to trial. They made sure that they made Gypsy look like the poor innocent one. Nothing ever came out about her chromosome disorder. Nothing ever came out about all the surgeries that she needed and her health. Nothing ever came out. He did not receive a fair trial, and nobody has said that he is completely innocent. All everybody is saying is he deserves a fair trial. He deserves a second chance, just like she did. And how can she be out when she manipulated him whenever she was the mastermind? He would have never done this crime if it wasn't for Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She is the reason Dee Dee is not here to this day. I will not carry his actions on my shoulders any longer. I've taken responsibility for mine. This next chapter is one of healing, of growth, of reclaiming my life. This is freedom, and I'm moving forward with clarity, peace, and self-forgiveness. The justice system has decided this case is closed. This is justice for Dee Dee, as well as myself, who the system failed all my life. The justice system may have made up its mind and let this, in my opinion, this psychopath out on society. But there's no healing, there's no growth, and there's no accountability, and there's no justice for Dee Dee at all. The system did not fail Gypsy at all. It failed Dee Dee, and it has failed Nicholas Godeshan. Now, the next are emails from Don Boker that Gypsy wanted to make sure she put out. But that's a whole other can of worms, because there's something that happened that I don't quite understand. It's something with Dawn, with Gypsy, with Fancy. I'm going to have to dig into that, because from my understanding, Dawn was sent in there as a weapon. And I'm going to have to look into that a little deeper. So we're going to fast forward and go to the next of Gypsy's writings. Justice was served, and so was my time. My continued prayers go out to the Petrie family, and I'm deeply remorseful for the pain and heartbreak my actions have caused them. I recognize that nothing I say can undo the trauma or bring Dee Dee back. But from the depths of my heart, I will continue to express my sincerest apologies to them, now and always. Gypsy Blanchard. And just think of that. That is like a slap in the face. Because she's still trying to hurt the Petrie family, because she talks about her grandfather essayed her in a claw bathtub whenever There was not even a cloth bathtub in the house. And you know, I really don't have pity on the Petrie family either, because they backstabbed their own family member. And they did not come out with anything good to say about Dee Dee. And that's a shame. It's almost like all of them there, the Blanchards, the Petries, it was all a big money grab. And that's what it felt like. And that's what it still feels like to this day. Nicholas F. Godejohn has a disturbing pattern, targeting vulnerable women with past trauma and guiding them into his twisted fantasy world. He presents himself as a dominant figure, seeking control and obedience, manipulating these women under the guise of love and loyalty. These messages are between Nicholas and a woman named Dawn, his prison pen pal turned then girlfriend. She was the first in a string of women he tried to trap in the same toxic cycle. Now, instead of Victor as his dark dual personality, he goes by the alter persona as Nicole, commanding a level of fear in the eyes of his lovers. Thankfully, like the others who came after her, Dawn eventually found the strength to walk away, to save herself before she lost her identity like I once did. This isn't new behavior. It existed before me, and it continued after me. He is a man on a relentless search for his perfect submissive, someone to carry out his darkest desires, even from behind bars. But the truth is, more and more women are seeing through the mask and choosing to escape. They're not his victims. They're survivors. To everyone who has supported me, stood by me, believed in me, and lifted me up, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your love has meant more than words can say. And to the ones who said I'd fail, who said she's just gonna go back to prison, or swore I wouldn't make it past day one, thank you too, because you lit a fire in me. You gave me the drive to prove you wrong, and guess what? I did. Against the odds, against the noise, I stood strong. I stayed true. I kept pushing forward, and now I'm just getting started. You said I'd fall, but instead, I'm rising. I'm about to show you what living my best life really looks like, and all of you can do now is watch me. So that was her TikTok when she first got out of prison. It was almost like an FU to us all, but it really was to Nicholas. Tell me what you think in the comments. It's sad because now she's got someone else in her sights that's autistic, and I'm wondering what she's going to set him up to do. Guys, I'll see you in the next video.